Fire Eyes Media.
So Amber and I got an email from a listener named Oliver giving us some praise on our Dumb Criminals episodes. Needless to say, it was much appreciated, as last month was a doozy.
January was literally the longest year of my life.
Yeah.
It felt like Murphy's Law was following me around like a dark, gloomy storm cloud with a Nelson-level bully in it pointing and laughing at me constantly.
Honestly, January was awful, and February hasn't been too great either so far. So we're really off to a good start, 2026. It would be great if we could turn it around. So we figured since Oliver requested some more dumb criminal content, we would give it to him.
Yep. Our first What the Fuck episode of 2026, we're diving into the world of mayonnaise jar level IQs, drug-related shenanigans, and is this real life moments.
Before we dive in, let's hear our riddle for the day. During what month do people sleep the least? Stay tuned to the end to find out the answer.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Gina.
And this is Weird True Crime.
We're heading back to May of 2025 in Kansas for our first story. If you've been around here for a little while, we've mentioned on numerous occasions that drugs are bad, okay?
Also, that money motivates you to do some crazy shit.
Right. And add the two together, it's a sure recipe for disaster. Quite thankful there is a news article to back up this first story. Otherwise, you'd think I was making it up. So buckle up because this is a saga.
I also have a feeling this might make some history buffs weep.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The source of weepage would be a massive 800-pound cannon that was used in the Spanish-American War being displayed in a Kansas park, and a man we'll call Gordy.
Can anyone guess what Gordy's favorite pastime for the past 20 years has been? Bueller? Bueller? Meth, yes, yeah. He told investigators that he was a meth user of 20 years.
Oh, yikes. So, what does Gordy, his meth addiction, and this 800-pound war cannon have in common? Turns out that Gordy was in some serious shit with his dealer.
He claimed that he owed 20 grand to his dealer after the pound of meth he was supposed to sell was allegedly stolen. What does his dealer do? Well, in true gangster drug lord fashion, he supposedly threatened to shoot Gordy and his family if he didn't come up with the cash.
In desperation, Gordy hatched a plan to repay the debt by stealing statues made of copper that he could sell.
Cue the cannon. Literally.
Yeah, so Gordy goes driving around, panicking, trying to pinpoint some targets to steal and sell, when he spots the statue in Riverside Park, where it had been a fixture since 1900.
He claimed that the cannon became his target because it was located in a dark place. He then recruited a homeless man to help him with this plan by bribing him with drugs and a pipe.
Need I remind you, this is an 800-pound cannon these two geniuses think they're going to steal on their own. So let's talk about how that went down, shall we? First, the pair tried to lift the cannon into the bed of Gordy's Tahoe, but shocker, it was too heavy.
Then they decided to hook it up to a chain attached to the truck's hitch so they could tow it off. As they were dragging it through the streets, the chain snapped right in front of an automotive shop. Gordy had to abandon ship there and flee to his friend's house to get a new chain.
When he returned, he used the new chain to drag it to his friend's house, where he stored the cannon in the garage. Allegedly, while in the garage, Gordy chopped the cannon into 5 separate pieces.
Yeah, history buffs, get your tissues.
Whoa. How? Oh, that's awful.
Oh, this is the best part. He took some of the pieces to his dealer, hoping it would settle his debt and save his and his family's lives. No surprise here, though, that the drug dealer was less than amused and spewed even more threats of violence, calling Gordy stupid.
Actually, the best part of it all is that Gordy didn't even have an ID that is required to sell scrap metal, so he really had no set plan for pawning the cannon he hacked into pieces. Gordy was then terrified after his drug dealer said he was going to shoot him in the head, so he fled to his mommy's house, confessed his sins, and fell asleep.
When he woke up, the police were there ready to arrest him. Officials from Wichita's Parks and Recreation estimated that the cannon was worth more than $100,000.
Oh, and even the granite base the cannon had been sitting on top of received around $10,000 worth of damage as well.
Like, this is why we say drugs are bad. He had a half-baked plan. I mean, hey, selling scrap metal, it can be lucrative. Some people actually make a living doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But homeboy didn't even have an ID that's required to sell this shit. So he just had 800 pounds of metal that he could do nothing with. And my God, bringing it to his dealer, probably walked in like, what is this hunk of metal you just put on my lap? Like, dude.
My question is, did nobody see them dragging this giant 800-pound cannon down the road? Like, if I saw that, I think I'd be asking some questions.
Well, remember he said that he targeted the cannon because it was in a dark place and they probably did it late at night. And now it didn't specify what time of day all this went down, but if it was in broad daylight, I have less questions about his thought process than like, where the hell was everybody else? Because it literally said he like it snapped in front of an automotive shop. So,
Right.
I mean, if it was during the day and like business hours, they would have been like, hey, what you doing there, big guy?
Yeah.
So
it probably was at night.
I'm inclined to believe that it was in the dark of night.
I mean, he's got some gumption to try to go through all of that trouble just to pay his dealer back, but I don't know. Also, maybe use it as a life lesson that you should probably turn things around or clean up your act a little bit.
Rip cannon.
I know, that's really sad. That's awful. Don't vandalize historic property, guys. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
If you're going to take anything away from what we just told you, yes, don't vandalize historical pieces of history.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to shuffle forward to July of 2025 in, wait for it, Florida. You know it's going to be a good one if we're heading to Florida for some shenanigans. No shade, you guys. We love you. Just saying, like, it's usually pretty comical.
Yeah, and the only thing that could make this even more Florida-like is if there's gators. Well, are there gators?
Well, there were probably gators nearby, but none in this particular story. There is some more meth, though. So, you know.
Of course there is. And considering we just went down a meth-filled rabbit hole, this ought to be good.
Picture this. It's your birthday and you wind up at the Conch Tour train depot in Key West. For 60 minutes, you get a guided tour through time, seeing Mallory Square, Sails to Rails Museum, the Key West Aquarium, and more.
I mean, honestly, that sounds delightful, but you mentioned meth, so...
Enter a man we'll call JP. On his birthday last year, right around the 4th of July, he ventured to the Conch Tour train depot where he somehow convinced a poor, unsuspecting employee into handing over the keys after he convinced the employee he used to work at the company years ago and requested a tour of the train.
So now JP has the keys, and the incorrect assumption after being given the keys that he has permission to take said train, which he did not, and he left the employee standing there confused.
Now, cops have called, obviously, and they already have a decent idea of who they're looking for, as JP had left his Kia running in the parking lot of the depot blasting rock music. Here's hoping he had good taste in music, at least.
Okay. I'll hold my comments till later. Yeah. So the cops were able to apprehend JP and the train was still in one piece. But to their surprise, JP had somehow convinced two completely oblivious strangers into joining him for the ride. When the police told him about the charges he was facing, he exhibited rapid speech and appeared excited, saying that it was his birthday and that he only borrowed the train.
Will come as no surprise that when he was carted off to county jail and searched, a deputy allegedly found a pipe hidden in his pocket. JP tried to insist that it was only a weed pipe, but the cops disagreed. He faced charges of burglary, grand theft auto, and possession of drug paraphernalia. It really is a miracle no one got hurt.
His birthday really didn't have a happy ending after all that. It's so funny to me. Like, my biggest takeaway from this is the fact that he left his car on with the keys in it, just blasting. Like, he was
music.
That excited.
Oh, yeah.
That he couldn't even be bothered.
He wanted to go on one of those trackless train tours through the city, but, he wanted to do it himself. And he did, because he scored himself a couple of passengers. Like, kudos, sir, but let's lay off the meth, dude.
Honestly, they were probably concerned and scared and were like, let's just go along with it so we don't, agitate him. Maybe.
Maybe it was like, if he's sitting there yelling, hey, you two, come on, let's party. It's like,
oh, shit.
I gotta go give my fish a bath.
I've never heard that saying before.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Poor JP. Like drugs are bad.
So bad.
Meth in particular. Whew. Okay. For this next one, we're sticking around the same time frame, so July of 2025, but heading to Pennsylvania to a McDonald's.
It seems that we can't do a Dumb Criminals episode without fast food places coming up in some sort of capacity.
Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania has but one McDonald's. In this establishment, there was a statue of the big red and yellow clown himself in a kneeling position, smiling.
Hate it already.
That's gross.
Hate
it. That's really disturbing. So, surveillance footage released by the NPD show the aforementioned clown being stolen in broad daylight.
The police win the internet for the following Facebook post, though. Quote, "We're not clowning around. This was a full-blown McNapping. Ronald was last seen smiling, as usual, unaware of the betrayal. Witnesses say he didn't even put up a fight." End quote.
They go on to say, quote, "To the suspects, we get it. Times are tough and therapy is expensive. But kidnapping a plastic icon of joy? That's a McFelony." End quote. Wow, they got jokes over there. The footage showed a few unidentified young individuals waltzing in, grabbing Mr. McDonald, and waltzing out.
Okay, but we have to talk about the shoes the dude who carried Ronald out was wearing. Literal fish flops. Slide-on fish shoes. I mean, I know this was last year, but I honestly didn't think people still wore those.
I honestly don't think I've ever seen those, and I know there are some weird trends.
Oh, there will be a picture on our Instagram, so you'll be able to see the shoes in question.
I believe it. I need to see those. So after leaving the building with Ronald, the suspects were seen getting into a black vehicle with an unidentifiable license plate. And unfortunately, despite searching for an update, we were unable to find out if Ronald was ever returned or not.
The police followed up on all their leads, but came up with nothing, and unfortunately ran out of leads. There had been an identical statue of Ronald McDonald that popped up on eBay, but it wasn't the clown they were looking for.
Is this the clown you're looking for? They contacted eBay and were able to determine that the one that was posted was up before the one was stolen from Nesquehoning. It is also surprising that the four suspects weren't identified with all of the media attention, and officials and residents all agreed that the suspects were probably not from the immediate area either. The statue had been a fixture in the McDonald's store for over 2 decades before he disappeared.
Now, I may have my opinions on Ronald McDonald that we're all too familiar with on this show. Like, y'all can keep him. I'm good. It is kind of sad, this is a small town in Pennsylvania, and he was well known. And then these 4 kids, I think it was about 4 young teenagers, maybe young adults, whatever, waltz in and decide, hey, I want me a little kneeling clown statue. And that's it. That's just it. Gone.
That thing is in one of their houses.
So that's what they were saying. He's either...
It's a trophy. It's a trophy.
He's either posted up in the passenger seat of someone's car, or he's a lawn ornament in the backyard so people can't see. And because he's not from the immediate area, or from they're suspecting that they're not from the immediate area, people aren't going to really be driving out and around and looking. So yeah, no. He's a trophy, just like you said.
It's kind of like, I don't know, when we were teenagers, I had friends that would steal the street signs and, other random shit like that if they had their names on them or something. Yep. I have a feeling it was just a dare. It was this would be a cool thing to have. So they just stole it for their own benefit, which is really sad considering it had been there for so long. Yeah.
And, most of the McDonald's locations don't have the statues anymore. They've all been slowly removed over time. And so that was one of the last ones, I want to say, that had, still been there. But
kids, I hope you feel bad. I hope you feel guilty for what you've done to that poor little town.
I hope that Ronald becomes haunted and terrifies your nightmares.
He sounds creepy as fuck. I'm just gonna I don't like clowns. You like clowns. But
I love clowns, but Ronald is not it.
Your typical me. Clown. He doesn't do it for you.
He doesn't do it for me. Let's just not with that, okay?
Oh man.
Well, we can't go to Florida without circling back to Texas. Yeehaw. Which is where we're heading for this next one that also took place in July of 2025.
Man, July was a crazy time last year.
Seriously. So our show is no stranger to botched murder for hire plots, and neither is Tammy, we'll call her. According to Tammy's ex, who is newly engaged, moving on with his life, Tammy wanted him dead so she could covet his son's inheritance and get back the home they shared before they were divorced in 2020.
The ex, we'll call him J-Dog, got lucky after the hitman Tammy had hired to kill him apparently grew a conscience and warned J-Dog of what Tammy had hired him to do. J-Dog lived in a state of fear for the better part of 1.5 years after that, stating that he lived with the lights off in the house and had floodlights and cameras in the backyard. Jeez.
So the hitman backs out. What does Tammy do next in her quest for J-Dog's demise? She inquires about injecting fentanyl into a box of high-end chocolates that she wanted to deliver to J-Dog. According to the sheriff's office, the package would also include a faux honeymoon incentive from a travel agency, whatever the hell that means.
What she didn't know is that the inquiry she made was to an undercover officer in a motel parking lot. She was cuffed immediately after the sale and booked on charges of criminal solicitation with intent to commit murder, criminal attempt to commit murder, and possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver. Jeez.
Oh, it also shouldn't come as a shock that the cops found a whopping 9.5 grams of meth on her when she was arrested. Drugs are bad, kids. I mean, and so is trying to murk your ex-husband. J-Dog is lucky to be alive. Let's hope his new wife lays off the meth.
Why are there so many stories of people trying to off their exes? Just leave him alone. And also, did she even know for sure that she would get inheritance anyway? Why would her name be on anything if they weren't even together anymore?
Meth.
Or
meth makes you stupid. I'm sorry, clearly.
Oh my God. That poor dude living in fear for that long.
Yeah.
If you had the means, I'm just I am moving, but not everybody has the ability to just
Thank God that hitman was hey, bro, your ex wants you dead.
Also,
Okay. Can you
not a
imagine
good
like that?
hitman. Not
No.
a good hitman. Not good at his job.
I mean, hopefully he's explored other avenues
I hope
of
so.
income, but, good on him for...
Or maybe he was like another undercover, just like citizen that positions himself as a hitman only to, go around and tell the supposed victims about their...
That's giving a whole lot of faith in humanity that I don't know that I'm capable
It's
of,
like a
but
whole movie
I
plot.
like it. I like it. We can go with that.
I'm trying to think of something that's not as bad as like there was an actual hitman that was going to do this and then grew a conscience or maybe realized he knew him or, something.
Maybe Tammy was just so effed up on the meth. He was like, I can't even deal with this chick, man. Like, no, J-Dog, run.
Yeah, no, that's awful. Oh, J-Dog. I hope you're okay, man. That's all I'm going to say. Guess what? We're still in July of 2025, but now we're traveling to the other side of the country, to California. I just want to start this one by reading the headline. Quote, California driver arrested after slow speed chase in rickety stolen truck with 3 popped tires. End quote. Yeah, you heard that right.
All right. Definitely used to hearing high-speed police chases, but slow-speed police chases is a thing?
Yeah, apparently. The unidentified driver, we'll call Speedy, stole the work truck and was clocked going a whopping 5 miles per hour through central Los Angeles. He was going so slow that an entire fleet of cyclists passed in front of him. Wow.
Cops tried to stop the truck on the Pacific Coast Highway by laying out spike strips to tear the tires. 3 wheels were popped, but Speedy just continued on, going even slower. Throughout the entire chase, shit, can we even really call it a chase? It's more like a leisurely stroll at this point. Speedy slowly rolled through red lights without being hit.
A police cruiser followed closely behind, just waiting for Speedy or the truck to run out of steam. Speedy would swerve at random, inch closer to cars in oncoming traffic, and even bounced up and down along the sidewalk. He poked his head out of the window a few times to yell at other drivers for some reason, too. Oy.
It took an hour and a half. Yeah, you heard that right. An hour and a half for authorities to make a pit maneuver against the hardly operable truck, which is when the cop bumps into the rear quarter panel of the vehicle to cause it to lose control and spin out.
I'm curious how they were able to do the pit maneuver in a chase so slow to begin with. Like, how would the car spin out? Well,
that is my question.
It wouldn't. But regardless, they were able to take Speedy into custody, and surprisingly, no one was injured during this entire mess. But I bet Speedy was on something.
Oh,
very strong.
Raise your hand if you think meth.
I also think meth. Also, I'm sorry. Why would it take them an hour and a half? Like, if he's going that slow, just get in front of him. Just cut him. Like, I don't.
So many questions. Like,
I feel like this was a giant waste of time. Maybe they were entertained and they were like, well, we have nothing else to do right now, so we're just going to follow this guy for funsies. Like,
or they were instructed to make sure he got away from like a heavily populated area to cause, in case he was help prevent further delays or what the hell ever. But like, my God, hour and a half to do a pit maneuver. That was probably the slowest pit maneuver that cop ever had to do. I mean, they're going like 5 miles an hour. I mean, oh my God, he probably got up to like 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Easy there, speed racer.
I need to understand more about what was going on in that guy's mind.
Sometimes after these stories, I'm left with more questions than answers, but such is the life of dumb criminals.
Yeah, we'll never know.
No.
There's no point in asking why.
My IQ is higher than a jar of pickles, so I can't relate.
I guess that's why we have so many questions. It's like, who in their right mind would do these things? Well, they wouldn't.
They're not in their right mind, exactly. So
Wow.
All right, Louisiana, we're heading to you next, back in August of 2025, for our next entry for the Darwin Awards.
At least we've moved on from July. Something must have been in the air around then.
Seriously. Bonnie, we'll call her, was released around 7 a.m. from criminal trespassing charges from lockup. Instead of calling for a ride or getting an Uber or something, Bonnie decided to take her transportation home into her own hands.
When you're in a detention center parking lot, your vehicle choices are narrowed down to mostly, squad cars, marked or unmarked, and other government-issued vehicles.
It appears that Bonnie had tried to first hijack an unmarked police car immediately when she was released. And when that didn't work, she moved on to stealing a Department of Public Works truck.
After she was successful in hijacking the truck, she ended up ditching it and hitching a ride with someone heading south. Calls about a suspicious woman wandering in the middle of the highway led the police to find Bonnie inside a grocery store where she was once again detained.
Literally, like 2 hours after she was released, she winds up right back in cuffs in jail. Make it make sense.
I feel like that was her plan all along. You know how, there are career inmates?
Yes, maybe, but drugs, all like that also comes
But she had
mind.
just gotten out of jail,
Right.
So there's no way she had to have been sober at least the initial part of this.
Maybe right when she got out, and then because she was so focused on getting said drugs, she made poor decisions because,
It definitely could be. And I'm surprised she got that far. They have cameras in the parking lots. Nobody saw that?
But also, you would think, people wouldn't have the cojones to, do that in a parking lot there. So they're probably we don't have to worry about it here of all places.
Well,
Guess
Bonnie
what?
did.
Bonnie got your ass.
Maybe they'll pay attention to their security feed more.
They say that hindsight is 20/20, so.
That's true. Oh, Bonnie, I hope you're okay. It's sad you worry about these people sometimes. You're like, are you okay?
Are you okay?
I hope
Who hurt
life
you?
is better. Yeah. I hope we're on a better track now. Okay. Florida, we're coming back to you. We're jumping ahead a little in time to October of 2025.
Please tell me there are gators this time.
Hey, you let me down earlier, so now it's my turn. So Lord Farquaad, as we'll call him, hit a convenience store and allegedly stole $7,000 in scratch-off lottery tickets. He pulled into the Circle K, opened multiple cabinets taking the lottery tickets before fleeing in his gray Hyundai Elantra.
Around 40 minutes later, Lord Farquaad arrived at a 7-Eleven in the area to redeem the scratch-offs. When this attempt was unsuccessful, guess what homie did?
He returned to the same Circle K he stole the tickets from and tried to cash in on the 7 ticket books. Needless to say, this attempt also failed.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, Well, he left and returned to the same Circle K only minutes later, failing yet a 3rd time.
Lord Farquaad wasn't done, though. Thoroughly discouraged, he donned a black mask, yellow shirt, and black Nikes and returned to the 7-Eleven with a replica Glock and pointed it at the clerk, demanding someone open the cash register. That escalated quickly.
Fast. He made off with a whopping $120 from the register before he escorted the clerk to the back and snatched a pack of Newport cigarettes. His victory was short-lived, though, as there was a metric fluff ton of evidence, including his license plate and all the surveillance footage.
After his arrest, Lord Farquaad told the cops he, quote, needed money. Yeah, don't we all, buddy? Don't we all?
It's It's mind-boggling that, he's going to the same 2 stores multiple times. You know what the definition of insanity is?
This guy.
Literally repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome.
And then he was like, fuck it. I'm going to put on some sort of disguise and get this fake gun, and now they'll give me what I want.
Because, his disguise was really that ingenious. And okay. Yeah. Nope. So
desperate people do desperate things.
Yes. Hey, there was no meth mentioned this time.
There wasn't.
Just money. And I already said money motivates you to do stupid shit.
Yeah, it does, but that was really fucking stupid. And not even for that much money.
Not even
come
fruitful.
On.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we've made it up to December 2025 in Ohio for our next one. Oh, guess what? More meth.
Is anyone else seeing a very clear pattern here? No? Just me? Yeah.
Okay, so my bank here in Texas doesn't use the drive-through anymore.
Sad.
If we want to deposit cash or withdraw, we use the ATM or we go inside and talk to a person. If we want to deposit a check, we either use the mobile banking, ATM, or we go inside and talk to a person.
Talking to people sucks. Why would you want to have to do that?
Yeah, so I just use the ATM or the mobile banking if, presented
Yeah.
with that,
So our bank, the mobile banking sucks, but they do have really good ways to literally deposit cash, checks, anything, and get stuff out in the drive-through vestibules. So I try to talk to people as little as possible.
It's not a bad idea. Just saying.
No, it's not.
Well, this particular bank we're talking about for this story, and Mr. G, we'll call him, still uses the drive-throughs with those chutes, like you do, Gina.
The chutes. I miss the chutes. It's not the chutes. It's just this
just like a deposit kind of.
With the little thing that opens and you just put it in and it's it takes it from you. Oh, but the chutes. That gives me the warm fuzzies.
Nostalgia right there. You can hear the sound in your brain, can't you? Oh yeah.
See it and feel the opening of the
vacuum. Yep.
Yes. So Mr. G rolled up and decided to make a deposit through the air tube and drove away without realizing that he accidentally deposited more than just his check.
He had also included a small baggie of meth in his transaction. The unsuspecting employee flagged the deposit and the police came to check it out.
Mr. G was tracked down nearly 200 miles away from where he had the unfortunate transaction at the bank. A canine dog sniffed Mr. G's truck and uncovered suspected drugs and drug-related items.
The county sheriff wrote on Facebook, quote, "Illegal drugs don't belong in bank drive-thrus, but they can be turned in at the sheriff's office. No charges, no handcuffs, just help. We'd much rather safely take them off the street than see another unexpected deposit." End quote.
Honestly, it's great when the police take to Facebook to make these kinds of posts and statements. And the comment section is usually equally, if not more, entertaining. One such comment was, quote, "I bet he was mad as hell, deposited his check and his drugs. LMFAO, can you imagine the frantic search that ensued when he was looking for them?" End
For
quote.
real.
He's like, no.
Or did he ever actually realize that he had deposited there? Or is it just, oh my God, they're gone?
Yeah, he probably didn't know where they were.
Another comment was, quote, "This is your brain on drugs." End quote. I mean, which absolutely fair.
Yes.
But I think my favorite is, quote, "I didn't realize that you could be too stupid to do drugs." End quote.
Or he was on the drugs and
or he was
made bad
this
decisions.
is a product of his habit. Yep.
Of the said drugs. So This is a clear example of why being organized is important, because maybe don't hold your bag of meth in your lap at the same time as your bank deposit. Maybe put it somewhere else. Put it in the glove box. Put it in the passenger seat. Don't,
What Gina
Sort.
actually means right now, what she
Sort.
means to say is don't do drugs. Just there. That's the bottom line, I think, is what we want to be saying right now.
I mean,
Not keep your drugs and bank deposits separate. Jesus.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do drugs, at least think a little bit before you do. I'm asking a lot, I know.
I was going to say.
I'm asking a lot. As someone who has never done these types of things, I wouldn't even know how to begin to understand how they affect you or like how your brain functions on them. So I'm sure he
doesn't
was
function. That's the problem.
Yeah, he wasn't 100% in that moment. But man, the cops did a great job tracking him down. And it's not like it was hard to know who he was, considering he was at the bank with his personal information.
Yeah, I mean, like he literally had identifiable information with his bank deposit and the baggie of drugs. Like there's that's not mine. I don't know how that was in there already. No, homie. Can't do that.
Oh. Okay, y'all, we've made it up to January of this year, and we're in a new state, Georgia. In the past, we've mentioned some burglars making some very interesting wardrobe choices.
One of my favorites is still the two dudes who thought drawing masks on their faces with Sharpie was going to be enough to conceal their identities. Bless their hearts.
Yeah, that one was great. And I'm just going to read a line from this article because it's fantastic. Quote, "A near-naked bandit went on a wild carjacking spree through a Georgia neighborhood while wearing nothing but a tablecloth until he was ultimately cuffed in the buff." End quote.
I already have so many questions.
Yeah, so the cops received a call that a stolen vehicle was believed to be in the possession of Buffman, as we'll call him.
The cops found the car, but no Buffman. Later on, witnesses told the authorities that Buffman had escaped on foot. Interestingly enough, the cops said that there were signs that Buffman may have been exposed to chemicals while inside the car.
What chemical isn't clear, but body cam footage from the cops showed officers discussing whether or not Buffman had suffered chlorine burns, and there was an abandoned pool servicing truck nearby.
I mean, that could potentially explain the lack of clothing if, he was covered in chlorine.
Yeah, totally. And while the cops were searching for Buffman, they kept receiving calls about a man matching his description, wandering through the area, wearing nothing but a tablecloth, and trying to gain entry into several different vehicles.
I just have to interject, that would be one of the easiest phone calls to be able to call and report. Okay, can you give me a description of the suspect? Yeah, they're naked.
They're
in the middle of the street. Okay, what do they look like? They're not wearing clothes. How many freaking naked people do you expect to be finding wandering around the middle of the road? That would be the easiest call,
I don't know, man. No clothes. Just look for the skin. That's all. That's all you have to do.
Sorry. Anyway, Buffman even allegedly entered an occupied home and grabbed the keys to a Mercedes and drove off. The cops quickly found the stolen Mercedes, conducted a traffic stop, and took Buffman into custody at gunpoint.
He was hit with a whole bunch of charges, including burglary in the first degree. But the question still remains, why was he naked?
I'm going to lean on the chlorine theory.
Mm-hmm.
But so many other questions. Where did he get the tablecloth?
Yeah.
Why didn't he just
how did they know for sure it was a tablecloth?
Why didn't he flag someone down and say, I need medical attention. Can you call an ambulance for me? And just kind of chill. Why was he trying to put his naked butt, I was going to say something else, naked butt on a freaking random person's seat? You don't know what's been, I just
don't understand how it goes from possible chlorine burns to I'm just going to go steal a car and get away from this situation. What? Yes, Amber has her hand raised. Yes, Amber?
Drugs?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say,
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he was like, had a warrant out, or like he was already in trouble for something and he got injured and he was like, well, I can't get medical attention or have the cops or anything around because I'm already in trouble for something else. And so who knows?
Okay, so why wouldn't you flag down like a, say, I need to, yeah. I mean, if there's like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I can't afford it. Can you just take me home so I can take a shower and get cleaned up? Something like that. But then again, maybe he did try to do that at the beginning and nobody was like, I'm not letting your naked ass touch my seat. So, you're on your own. Who knows? Just, I mean, so many questions. But we're going to be ending this episode with one of those, is this real life moments I was talking about earlier. We're heading to Colorado earlier in January for this one.
Mr. King, as we're going to call him, was apprehended 3 days after he allegedly held up a teller at a bank in Denver.
He allegedly demanded money from the teller before fleeing, but unclear how much money he was able to get away with.
His crime alert photos were something to behold. Bright orange jacket, floppy black beanie, and gray sweatpants. He was later ID'd as a self-professed true crime author.
What could he have possibly been a true crime author about, you ask? Oh, that's a good question. He penned an autobiography in 2018, which provided details about his previous bank heist and membership in a gang prison.
The book's summary states, quote, follow the true events of a real-life bank robber. Dive into the world of the federal prison system where life is never guaranteed. End quote. Catchy. He claimed authors like John Grisham were his personal literary inspirations. Can I just note that this reminds me of some of the things that I've seen in our email inbox? Like, do you want to, this author wrote this book, and you're like, that sounds real fishy. I don't know that would be a great guest to have on this podcast.
Oh. Hey, maybe he was one of them.
Maybe. That's literally what I thought.
Oh man, if only he had taken inspiration from others in his everyday life, he wouldn't have robbed a bank, served time, written a book, and then robbed another bank. In case you didn't know, bank robbery is a federal offense punishable by upwards of 20 years in prison. So he'll likely be transferred to a federal court and have to dive back into that world he wrote about in his book.
Maybe he was just trying to get new content for another book.
Maybe. Oh God, content creators will actually go the extra mile these days. Like there are some questionable things that I have seen on the internet. And it's like, we were already having a hard time differentiating what is true and what is not. Mm-hmm. And you're going to throw this kind of shit at us? God,
yeah.
That's enough internet for me.
I have a feeling maybe it was like 2 birds, 1 stone kind of situation. Like maybe he was hurting for cash for a little bit, because I have a feeling his book probably didn't do all that well. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to try to rob a bank and get some new content for another book.
When I get out in 20 years.
I mean, he could work on it while he's in prison.
This is true.
But I don't think he could publish it while in prison.
I don't know that he could actually make money or royalties off of it while he's
not anymore
incarcerated. So
yeah, no, that's not a thing they can do anymore.
It's, good job there, Mr. King.
Yeah, so that concludes our first What the Fuck episode of 2026. And don't worry, there's plenty more to come, because if life keeps going the way it is, we will need all of the humor we can get.
I like how it said in the beginning, therapy is expensive. Comedy is cheaper than therapy.
Mm-hmm. So here we are. And follow us on Instagram at Weird True Crime and TikTok, because I'm actually trying to add stuff there now too. So yeah, go follow us and see some photos from today's episode, plus case updates and the funniest memes around.
Before we say goodbye, let's hear that riddle one last time. During what month do people sleep the least? The answer? It's February. It's the shortest month. Sorry. I mean, it seemed fitting. I'll do better next time.
That is a dad joke.
I know. That's why I apologized.
If I've ever heard one.
And I literally didn't say sorry, not sorry this time. This was followed by a genuine apology.
I'm really sorry about that.
Sorry I had to do that to your brain.
I don't know. I thought the answer was going to be somehow related to like the name of a month or something. Like, this is not where my brain went at all. But once again, we know that I never figure these out. So are we really surprised I didn't figure out this one either? No.
Meh.
No, we're not. We did it. Okay.
We did it.
Until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices. Bye.